LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Faraday presenta Ojos con Alergia y Picazón contra el jardinero. Y el ganador es Faraday Extra Fuerte. Para aliviar la picazón de los ojos por alergia, actúa más rápido y supera a Claritin y Flonase aún a las 24 horas. Faraday, adelante.
CRM was supposed to improve customer relationships. Instead, it's shorthand for can't resolve much. Which means you may have sunk a fortune into software that just bounces customer issues around but never actually solves them. On the ServiceNow AI platform, CRM stands for something better. With AI built into one platform, customers aren't mired in endless loops of automated indifference. They get what they need, when they need it. Bad CRM was then. This is ServiceNow.
You're listening to That's Pretty Dark,
the podcast where we talk about all the entertainment that scared us as children
and still haunts us as adults. So grab your flashlight and join us as we take a frightfully nostalgic look over our shoulders
and under our beds
and in our closets.
And together we'll realize, whoa, that's pretty dark.
Rory is 9 months old.
9 months since that baby was born.
Since he popped out.
Time flies.
Came on out of there.
Whatever you're trying to say, just no need. We understand. We understand what happened.
It's so scary to think he's been outside
grown.
as long as he was inside. Longer at this point.
Longer, yeah.
And as of 2 nights ago, Sunday night, I think the night that we actually released Last Unicorn Part 2, he started sleeping in his own room.
It's a milestone.
It's amazing and terrifying at the same time. I thought I was going to be so relieved to get him, out of the room. I ended up having like 2 really intense nightmares. The first one I thought was real. Like, I think I was still kind of awake because I wasn't falling asleep, but I was beginning to like dream.
Yeah.
Kind of like not really like a night terror.
That's what happened to me.
Because I couldn't
also
move and I was trying to move, so that must have maybe it was a night terror. I don't know.
Yes. That is a key element, and I experienced that pretty frequently.
And I kept hearing things, and I kept feeling things, and what it boiled down to, the dream, was that something was trying to get in the house to go take him.
Well, you've evolved, like you've graduated, because you used to have those home invasion nightmares all the time.
I did, yeah. When I lived alone, and before I had a home security system, had just vicious.
Often. You would tell me, like it happened again. Yeah.
Pretty much every night about somebody breaking into the home, and then as soon as I did that, those went away. And it's kind of the same thing, like having him in the room and knowing I could check on him at any time, knowing he was safe, hearing him breathing, feeling him moving, even though it kept me awake all the time. It was so
I can see how that would be comforting. Yeah.
And him being so far is just, man, it's just shaking me up, rattled.
In a mental way, like down to your.
And I was like, I gotta sleep. I have
but
to record
I also
tomorrow.
have to sleep.
I gotta sleep because I got things to do. I have work all day, and then I gotta record a podcast episode, and I gotta get with it and have fun.
I had a nightmare too. Like at the same time you were probably having your nightmare, I was having a nightmare doing that same thing where I'm like half in, half out, like not like I didn't know I was asleep. Do you know that feeling when you like don't fully know you're asleep? And That's vividly
what I did all night last night,
in the car, like driving on a bridge, and then there was a car that spun out in front of me and I couldn't avoid it. And I was like crashing into it as I woke up, and so I woke up like with a start,
I hate driving dreams.
Yeah, me too.
Do you ever have them to drive? It's not relevant to the episode at all we're covering tonight, but do you ever have the dream where you're in the back seat? You're literally a backseat driver and you're driving the car from the back seat.
Oh my God.
Do you ever have that?
Holy shit. I don't think I've ever thought about it as an awake conscious person. But yes. Holy shit.
I've just opened a whole new
Darklings, have you ever done that? I guess I have. Now that you say that, I do remember the feeling of like needing to get to the steering wheel, or like needing to get control of something that I can't
It's a loss
reach.
of control anxiety dream where I end up blowing through red lights and cops are chasing me down trying to get me to stop. I just keep on going. I can't stop.
Yeah. That is,
So,
I have done that. Wow. Not even something I've consciously thought about, but yeah.
I haven't had a nightmare in a very, very long time, but yeah.
It's like the school. This also has nothing to do with our episode today. Hello. Hi. Welcome
guys.
to That's Pretty Dark, where my name is Kaylin.
My name is Christian,
And
we're
we
just
talk
talking
about our nightmares.
Nightmares and things that scare us, you know.
But the very common
Fears that have lived
anxiety
with us
dream
since childhood.
of having been out of school for years, but like having a class, it's the end of the semester and there's a class that you didn't know was on your schedule, and you now have a final in that class and you have failed that class, or you didn't and I've had that nightmare so many times.
I don't have that one necessarily.
God, I do. And come to find out, a lot of people do. I think Hank or John Green like posted something about it. Like, why do we all have this specific dream? Like, what is it about this type of anxiety?
I have dreams that I'm in a movie. I'm acting in a movie, and we're rolling the scene. I don't know my dialogue. Like, nobody gave me a script, and I'm like, what's happening?
I can see that too. Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, I have high school dreams all the time. Back in high school,
I
seeing
rarely
all the
have
same
that.
people that I used to go to school with and don't know anymore. But I get the random friend requests from them all the time. I know that's a weird phenomenon.
Well, that's why
we
you're
all
still dreaming
experience.
about it. You're
'Cause
seeing
I keep
it in your
every
daily life.
few months, there's like, that person? How are they still alive? But my biggest high school dream is like I'm still playing basketball. Keep getting the ball, keep shooting.
I was about to say,
keep
is
missing.
it anxiety driven?
You keep missing the shot. You
Yeah.
keep playing really poorly. Yeah, that's the dream I keep having.
God.
It's awful.
Yeah, I don't go back to high school often, but I do have that the college anxiety
The
dream.
college one. Man, oh man.
Wow. Nightmares abound.
Anybody have nightmares about being in a graveyard, being lost in a graveyard? Because graveyards are magical places. They're not.
Yeah, I've never dreamed about a graveyard that I can recall.
I don't think I have.
Nothing specific, nothing that's like immediately coming to mind. But this episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark did 100% make me feel nostalgic for a certain feeling.
Oh my god, this one is so nostalgia heavy.
Like you said it before we started recording, like it's the vibe of it. It's not even the episode itself, it's the idea of it. It's just the feeling that you get about the episode more than anything, and I felt that deeply when I was
such a 90s
writing these notes.
childhood episode. It is. It's quintessential. We haven't used that word in a while, but it's quintessential 90s childhood.
I feel like for a long time I used that word in almost every
I think every
episode that I
we do.
did.
It's quintessential, iconic.
Sorry, Darklings.
We've
grown since
expanded our
then,
vocabulary
at least.
since then.
We tried
Our pretty dark lexicon has developed
extensively.
like our fears.
But the vibe of this episode is so specific. And as usual, it's listed differently in different places. But around these parts at least, we are treating the Tale of Old Man Corcoran as the final episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark's second season. I feel like it makes both no sense and all the sense in the world that it took us nearly 5 years to get through 2 seasons of this show. But at least, if nothing else, exactly, that's what I was going to say. If nothing else, Darklings know that there's more where that came from. Because we're only in season 2. We're just getting started.
But then again, we're already through 2 seasons. How?
2 full
Why?
seasons.
Can we go back? Can we start over?
I have watched this show, as a kid. I watched it on SNCC, primarily in reruns, but I feel like it's safe to say that even though I don't remember every episode, I've seen every episode of this show. But I feel like it's really special, the connection that I and we have developed with each episode. Because now looking back at what we've covered, I think about like the real world history and like the applications that I like researched and thought about and was like in the thick of for every episode. And I can only hope that it's the same for like Darklings, people out there that have listened to the episode. I hope that this is like, it has expanded like your knowledge and your, I don't know how to describe it, but it connects me more to that feeling that I had as a kid watching this show. Yeah. Like I have so much more to go on. I have so much more, like so many more touchstones, I guess. Related to the series that we love so much.
Speaking of development, I feel like I've developed a whole new like tier of nostalgia for these episodes based off of doing our show. Like I have a whole new
it's a different layer
of nostalgia on top of
because not only do we have nostalgia for the episode or the idea of the episode, but we also have developed nostalgia for when we were like covering it.
Yeah, like sitting back and like researching and watching it, getting all excited about it, and
watching it 3 or 4
learning
times
so many
in a
new
row.
things.
Yeah.
I thought about that today. I was like, one day when I'm an old man Corcoran, when I'm sitting there and I'm watching reruns of my old TV shows, I'm going to be watching this as an old man. This weird 90s childhood.
Well, they say
horror,
that
kids
there
horror
are going to
anthology.
be nursing homes one day full of millennials playing Super Smash Brothers. So
It's going to be awesome.
yeah, I don't hate that future.
I was just given my Nintendo 64 from my parents' house. It was boxed up and packaged. I got everything. It's mine.
My God.
It's mine. They tried
Mine
to
was
hold
sold.
on to it forever.
My parents sold ours, I'm pretty positive, because I've looked for it. I have my GameCube and I have my Wii, but I do not have my N64.
I got the N64. I got it back. I don't know if it works.
Well, maybe we're going to do some episodes on
years,
N64 games. Like that might be the development.
That's the catalyst for it. Let's do it. I got to get my hands on a Mortal Kombat.
Star Fox.
I have Star Fox.
Do
you
a
can
barrel
still
roll.
see the way their mouths move when they talk.
Yeah.
They're same
God,
words.
I miss it. I really miss it.
They're same words.
Again, that's not what we're here to talk about.
Nope.
But we are on a nostalgia kick because this episode is so, it really like immerses you. I don't know what it is about this episode because, to be honest, across the internet and in my own opinion, the acting in this episode is subpar at best.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's a really strong showing as far as the acting. The writing is not bad. The directing, I feel like, is the shining star. Like, I feel like Ron Oliver, who directed this episode, truly captured something, and he did the best he could with what he had, is what it felt like to me. Yeah. This episode first aired in October of 1993, and again, I would make an argument that although the acting is questionable, the directing is really spot on, and he did a great job conveying something that we needed to hear, we needed to see, we needed to understand. Again, DJ McHale gets his writing credit, as he always should, but this time credit is shared with Scott Peters. Okay. This is Scott's first episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, but he went on to do 5 more, including one of my very favorites, which is The Tale of Station 109.1.
Oh, heck yeah. I love that one.
Though he got his start here on Are You Afraid of the Dark, he's one of the more decorated and thematic contributors to emerge from this writer's room. He went on to write for shows like Goosebumps, Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction, Animorphs, and The Outer Limits. Wow. And he's also credited with creating and developing 2 shows in the mid to late 2000s, the 4400 and V.
I remember seeing the 4400 on TV and never watching it.
You know what? I think I watched a couple episodes and I never went back to it. Yeah. But I remember liking it. I think I saw the pilot of it. But clearly he had a very strong tie to the paranormal or the unexplained.
Yeah, and the first ones you mentioned is somebody out there is their top 5 list of favorite TV shows that he wrote for.
I really like that he placed the paranormal right in the middle of a classic childhood proving ground, being hide and seek, for this episode. And it's something that I've been thinking a lot about lately.
We got to prove that we can make it here.
We got to prove that we can make it here.
It's the streets, man. I guess they come from the streets.
Yeah, I mean, God, that's a whole other element to this episode. But I feel like any one of us, you and I included, can close our eyes and picture the last time we were crouched behind a bush, trying to slow our breathing, waiting for our friend's footsteps to come around the corner. And you're playing hide and seek and you have that breathless, you're just I'm gonna, something's happening. It was just a kinetic thing, this very dynamic energy that I remember in my body. I probably wouldn't have remembered it so well had I not had the weekend that I just had. Y'all know that I've really been through it the last few years health-wise. And like most millennials, my current corporate life isn't conducive to much in the way of fun or excitement, especially not the way that we used to experience it as kids when we were riding bikes until and sometimes after dark, or getting spooked in a graveyard.
Fun? Or what's that?
Yeah, playing a good old-fashioned game of hide and seek. I don't even know the last time I played a game of hide and seek, honestly.
Me neither.
And it all sounds really simple on the surface. But this weekend, I actually got a chance to go back in time a little, riding bikes, exploring graveyards. And I can tell you that every single one of these things hits very differently as a borderline agoraphobic grown-up who has ingested more tragic headlines and true crime lore than my baby self could have conceived of. When you have all of that experience on top of your life, your daily life, it really changes your perspective. Because as a kid, I would have been afraid of the ghosts. I would have been afraid of very different things that I ended up afraid of as a grown-up.
It changes both your fears and the way you have fun. the way you enjoy things.
Truly. Because as a kid, it feels like you're not thinking about any of those things. And as a grown up, I just kept thinking like a person is out here. Like I'm in a graveyard at night. I was on an island. I was doing like riding bikes. It was really fun. It truly was the first time that I've probably been on a bike in 20 years, like a bike like that. I feel like I did like road bikes with a hammer. These were like the truly like pedal backward to stop yourself bikes.
Oh, yeah,
and it connected me to my child self. I felt my child self holding the handlebars. I felt my child self like experiencing this thing.
Yeah.
And I know she would have been so much more fearless than me, but part of that is because she was so much less experienced than me.
She was so dumb. Ignorance can be liberating in many ways.
It can.
Especially when it comes to things like that and just like letting loose and having fun and like I don't know, courting a little bit of danger, a little bit of fear.
Right, exactly. You're courting danger, but you're not like engaging with it fully. And
which is
I haven't walked that
fine
line
if you're not really
in a
danger.
long time. Right.
If you're
you
actually
have to
in
just be
danger,
sure.
it's a little bit reckless.
Sure that you're not in danger. Luckily, I feel like the person that I was with was very knowledgeable and I was very safe, whether or not I felt like I was. But that's the kind of thing where you like connecting to your child self in that way is something that I do so infrequently. We have this podcast. We talk about that. We put ourselves back in those shoes so often. And yet I hadn't really been in the space of it. I hadn't really gone back to the scene of the crime, if you will, like that feeling in a really long time. And I think that it really comes through that feeling in this episode specifically.
Risking becoming the new crime scene yourself.
Right.
While going back
making myself making myself part of a new crime scene.
I mean, half the reason we created this podcast was to indulge in those childhood fancies and all the things we miss about growing up, because there's less time for it now. When you get older, there's less time.
Yeah,
but it feels very similar to like when you're a kid, you can ride the roller coaster and you're afraid of just the wild experience of being on the roller coaster. It's fun fear, healthy fear. Now you're like, as an adult, I'm like afraid that it's going to come off the tracks. And like,
right, exactly. I'm afraid of something really bad.
I'm afraid
actually
of like
happening.
the mechanical failures and things.
I was in literally in a graveyard
concept
at night, in the middle of the night, in the pitch dark over this weekend, and I was like excited to hear from the ghosts, and I was terrified that there was like an animal or a person nearby. You know what I mean?
in that scenario too, being out at night in the South like this, I mean, it really anywhere, but out, I feel like the wild animals are really the more
pressing issue,
threat.
And that's how it felt. That's how it felt for me, for sure. But it also felt super timely to be reminded that you don't always have to go very far to find intrigue and adventure, and that sometimes intrigue and adventure are exactly what you need to prove yourself to yourself. And it's possible that the ghosts are just the friends you make along the way. In this episode, we join the Midnight Society at the campfire as usual, except they're playing hide and seek, and the story chair is home base. David is it, and he's frustrated that he's already been it 3 times, but Betty Ann offers to sub in. She's so sweet. Betty Ann. Kristen wonders aloud why they're playing such a dumb kids game anyway, but Kiki chimes in that it's all part of her plan because it's not just a dumb kids game.
And I would argue that it isn't at all.
It's a human game.
It's just a fun game. It's a game that kids tend to play. Yes. That doesn't make it a kids game.
No. And we're going to talk about exactly where it comes from and why that is.
Yeah, I want to know.
Kiki says hide and seek isn't like any other game. You start off in a group, but when you're out there in the dark, you're all alone. You got to hide and be real quiet because you never know when somebody might jump out and catch you. She says her story is about a game of hide and seek with a twist because you never know when you'll get caught or who or what might catch you.
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society. I call this story The Tale of Old Man Corcoran.
She introduces Jack and Kenny, 2 new kids on the block who've moved with their mom to a suburban area out of what they call the toughest neighborhood in the city.
I mean, the toughest neighborhood in Quebec. It's like, how tough can it actually be?
God, I'm sure if they're going out of their way to mention it, it's probably pretty tough. And there's this weird like socioeconomic like layer to this episode. Like they mention that a couple times where they've come from somewhere that's much more rough, so they should be able to handle this.
Where we come from, the streets.
While I understand
those are so much scarier than your graveyard ghosts.
I don't think ghosts factor into that equation so much. Like ghosts are a whole nother thing. They don't really count.
Hey, urban horror, man.
Jack is played by Adam Bono, who had a couple of other credits, including Goosebumps, and Kenny by Michael Alexander Jackson. The Alexander is important, who mainly had 90s TV movies on his resume, along with 2 episodes of Law & Order.
Oh, nice.
As she narrates that they do almost anything to fit in, the brothers stealth around their new house in a super soaker battle for the ages. When Kenny runs out of water in his XP300, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's the one with the backpack. There were only like 2 super... Yeah. I did. There were only like 2 super soakers with a backpack ever, and I think that's the one it is. Jack comes in hot with his pistol-sized gun, and he rains fire on his brother, telling him to say uncle until he's interrupted by a kid in the driveway.
Anything that begins with super soakers, I'm in.
They did a really good job with that.
That is like one of the biggest icons from my childhood.
Yeah. Super soakers were like what every kid like had at the time or wanted at the time. Like I feel like every other commercial was for a super soaker.
Those commercials were so badass.
Yeah. And it made you need one.
Super soakers, Capri Suns, Gushers.
Yeah. All of the above.
More iconic.
Everything with a splash to it. You were a big fan, huh?
Because we were all going through puberty, you know. It was just the liquid amorphousness of everything.
Yeah, God, the liquid amorphousness.
Did you know that the guy who invented super soakers is from Mobile?
Is from Mobile. Mm-hmm. His name's Lonnie something.
Lonnie Johnson.
I think. Lonnie Johnson. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I feel like every kid had a super soaker at the time, and that both served the episode then when it was on air because it like grabbed attention in that same way, and it serves the episode now because it's so nostalgic. You know, it was a really smart move. Like sometimes with stuff like that, you worry about dating something, but I think the key with Are You Afraid of the Dark,
timeless through a nostalgic lens, though.
Yeah, you had to date it to make it what it is.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, have we talked about where say uncle comes from? Like getting somebody to give up and say uncle.
Sounds like maybe we have, but
I figured we have, but I checked just in case we haven't addressed it before. And Mental Floss said that we may get it from the days of the Roman Empire. Mm. It said, supposedly young children of that era who were attacked by bullies wouldn't be set free until they said, "Patru mi patruissimo," or "Uncle, my best uncle." Because at that time, the brother of one's father was accorded almost the same level of like status and power as one's dad. Therefore, declaring the bully to be your best uncle was basically granting him a title of respect.
Oh, okay. So you're calling your attacker a term of respect.
I'm giving you respect. Right. You win. You bested me.
Oh, okay.
You bested me. You're above me. You're uncle.
It's not just like a magic word that gets them to release you. It's just like a...
Right.
You're the best.
It's a compliment. Yeah, you're the best. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
You win.
That's just one theory. I
see.
But another theory says that we have a joke to thank for why we say uncle to give up. This is a joke from the Oxford English Dictionary's first citation of this phrase.
A gentleman was boasting that his parrot would repeat anything he told him. For example, he told him several times, before some friends, to say uncle, but the parrot would not repeat it. In anger, he seized the bird and, half twisting his neck, said, "Say uncle, you beggar," and threw him into the fowl pen, in which he had 10 prize fowls. Shortly afterward, thinking he had killed the parrot, he went to the pen. To his surprise, he found 9 of the owls dead on the floor with their necks wrung, and the parrot standing on the 10th, twisting his neck and screaming, "Say uncle, you beggar, say uncle." Okay, that's pretty good. It's pretty funny.
So the parrot is parroting homicide, murder.
Yeah, he taught the bird to commit murder most foul.
Murder most foul. Later versions of the joke have the man's niece persuading him to buy her a parrot, and that's why the bird is saying uncle. So it's just like it repeats, it's just a repeating thing. The joke seems to have first appeared in a Dublin newspaper in June 1891. And from there, it made its way into a London newspaper and then to the Iowa Daily Citizen, at which point, say uncle spread across the country and became part of North American vernacular. So it had maybe its roots in this joke. To me, the joke seems way more likely than the Roman thing.
Yeah, the Roman thing sounded like a stretch, but a lot of things just come from jokes and humor, and they just become like colloquial.
But I can totally see it being something it's a meme. Essentially, it's something that's circulated in a newspaper, right? Did you read that joke? It was
literally
people reading it to each other.
Definition of a meme.
Right.
That's
this is
so funny.
Mimetic theory. We talked about that in one of our episodes.
Just trying to teach him the word uncle. So it has nothing to do with the fact that uncles have a bad reputation for
teasing.
That
could be part of it. That could be part of why it stayed in the vernacular. Yeah. Who knows? But wearing double denim and with a bike in tow, The driveway kid, named Marshall McLean, and played by Jonathan Cameron, with only 2 other voice credits, both also from 1993, yells out, "What's up?" when they notice him waiting.
Such a weird
kid.
setup.
Weird setup, weird idea. He appears kind of out of nowhere, you might say. But I do think that Jonathan is the best actor of the bunch in terms of like injecting nuance into the scenes.
I don't know. I think Kenny's a pretty good actor.
Kenny did okay. Kenny held his own, and it wasn't his fault that he was struggling to act opposite someone who wasn't really acting.
That's true.
Just being angry,
just
basically.
Words. Oh, there's so much anger in this episode.
So mad.
So many of the kids are
such a mad kid.
No, there's multiple of them are just pissed off for no reason.
We get together every once in a while for a game of hide and seek. We're playing tonight if you guys want to come.
Jack declines since it's just a stupid kids game, but Marshall isn't sure that they'll want to play where his friends, who are flanking him at a safe distance, play. At the end of Anchor Street, behind the big gates, at sunset. This is feeling more akin to me to a hazing or like initiation than some kind of friendly game of hide and seek.
Very vague description. You want to go behind the gates at the end of the street?
Yeah. You want to go behind the gates over there? And just this group of kids approach that you've never met?
Scared?
Yeah, I don't know.
I will say, it really like bumped me that they did this whole weird staging thing where like they're hanging back, they're all in like their group, and then the guys coming forward to speak for the gang, like the bicycle gang, like my friends had growing up in my neighborhood. Mm-hmm. But we used to do that when we'd be riding around and we'd see some kids playing in their yard. Like 1 or 2 of us would go ask them if they want to come hang out.
Really?
We wouldn't all go because we didn't want to like intimidate or scare anybody. We were like oddly very like aware of ourselves as kids.
That is interesting.
So if we ever wanted to go meet new kids, we would just send like one person to go see if they wanted to come hang out.
Wow. And it worked? I mean, you made new friends that way?
Sometimes, yeah, not always. So a lot of times their parents didn't want them to, or they were, like, hey, we're literally going to go play a game of Capture the Flag or something. Do you guys want to come play? And their parents would be like, nah, it's almost dinner time. You guys can't go. Because they didn't know us, they didn't know who we were.
Sure.
But yeah,
but we were the last generation, really. Like that was the last era where that really just happened. That doesn't happen now. I feel like that's not a common thing for kids today. To just be able to be in the neighborhood and be like, hey, you're a kid, I'm a kid. Do you want to like? That's all we need to have in common to like make this work. Kids.
Proximity. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But now, I would never send my kids to. I would never just let them like go. Just
go say hi to the new neighbor. Mm-mm. Yeah. It's just not a thing anymore.
We'll all go say hey if you want, but you can't go by yourself.
Yeah, it's different.
The world's getting more and more dangerous.
We know it, don't we know it?
I don't know if it's not getting any more dangerous. We're just more self-aware.
It is.
It's not getting more dangerous. It's not. But
I don't know. World War III seems pretty dangerous to me.
It's a repeat of history. It's not more dangerous than it was how many years ago? Back in the 40s, 50s.
It's a cycle.
It's a cycle, and nothing new is happening. This has all been done. But my point is that the world's not getting more dangerous. It's just that we're more aware of the actual dangers that do exist out there in the world. Whereas we were allowed to go do things because people just didn't want to. Our parents didn't want to assume the worst. Right. We want to.
It's not even that we want to. It's that we can't help it.
Yeah, I want to because I want to be prepared for every scenario and keep my kids safe.
Right, every potentiality. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, makes sense. And it's like we say all the time, like in the 50s, things weren't greater, things weren't better. It's just everything happened behind closed doors or behind like this veiled thing. Like it was you present yourself as the ideal family, but mom's being abused, has no money, like kid's gay, but can't be. And there's always more than meets the eye to these sorts of things.
It's always happened.
But you can never be too careful, which is exactly what Jack and Kenny are realizing, because as Marshall says, of the end of the street, Anchor Street,
let's just say
it gets pretty dark in there at night.
It gets pretty dark in there.
What a thing to say.
They said the name of the movie in the thing. They said the name of the thing in the thing.
They said the thing.
They said it. It was for us. Retroactive. The brothers argue that hide and seek can't be that scary and set out to meet the bike gang later that night. Cut to the end of Anchor Street. There's an ominous graveyard, complete with fog and a grid-like gate, which is prime for climbing, though Kenny nearly impales himself on the way over.
God, those spikes were so sharp.
Yeah, to have the sharp, like, pointed spikes on the top, it's not like a barbed wire, you know what I mean? Like, it's not meant necessarily to keep people out.
Impaled.
Right there. The bad place. Bad place for it.
I don't think there's any good place for that to go.
No good place to be impaled.
No good place to be impaled.
They wander into the graveyard, where Marshall bursts out to scare them.
Boo! Oh Man, you should have seen your faces.
Where's everybody?
Out in the graveyard. We didn't think you'd show. Now we're gonna have to start over.
He calls out, "Ollie, ollie, oxen free," and the group of kids emerge from their hiding places behind gravestones, filing quietly past Kenny and Jack to tag home base, an old tree.
We never said that.
You never said it, "Ollie, ollie, oxen free"?
No.
I totally did.
I didn't hear that term till I played Splinter Cell as a kid, because the Russian people that you're infiltrating all these facilities, and the Russian guys would say that.
Yeah. No, I definitely said it, and I wondered every time, like, why am I saying this? Like, I'm only saying as a parrot, right? I'm only saying this because I'm repeating what other people, that's what you're supposed to say, but like, why?
I looked it up because I didn't know.
I have it right here because as a kid, I always wondered, and Darkling, if you're out there listening and you said it or didn't, maybe you didn't say it because you didn't actually know what it meant or what it was or what you were supposed to be saying, I'm here to tell you. It's used not only in hide and seek, but also in games like Kick the Can, and the leading explanation is that it's a corruption of older English playground phrases, something like all ye outs and free, or all the outs in free, meaning everyone that's out, like hiding or has been tagged or whatever, can now come in because it's the end of a round, if that makes sense. Another theory suggests that it came from the German-speaking immigrants in the U.S., possibly a misheard phrase of something like "Alle alle sind frei," meaning everyone is free. And then children who didn't speak German like imitated what that sounded like because it was German. But that phrase isn't like grammatically sound enough to be likely. Like the older English is a more likely direct line for "Alle alle."
Language is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, but hey,
and it could be both. It could literally be a little bit of both.
English is a Germanic language.
Right. So
maybe there's, deep, some connection way back
right.
when.
Yeah, exactly. It could be elements of both things, but all that to say, kids have been saying this for centuries upon centuries upon centuries, and it's just, again, as we usually say, one big game of telephone.
That's Ron
Marshall
Jacobson,
introduces the gang,
Scott
full names and
Walden,
all. There's
Laura
Ron
Ayers,
Jacobson, Scott
Mary
Walden,
Alice Reardon,
Laura Ayers,
Sissy Vernon.
Mary Alice Reardon, and Sissy Vernon.
They had to do the full names.
That definitely made me take notice whenever I was watching it for the first time. Sissy steps forward with what I would call an unnerving swagger to correct him. She says, "Call me Vernon." She is an androgynous icon. She's portrayed by Tamar Kozlov, who played Kathy in Laughing in the Dark.
Yeah, we've seen her before.
Also Prunella in like 100 episodes of Arthur.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Call me Vernon.
Vernon seems offended that Jack and Kenny have been invited. She says, "We've got enough people in the group. We don't need any more." But Marshall claims that they do. He says the more the better. Vernon expects them to be scared, but Jack interjects, wondering what's so scary about a graveyard since everyone's dead here. And Vernon responds,
"Let me tell you the good
kind
story. I got
kind
a
of
spooky story to tell you about.
Yeah,
So
she
gather around
asks,
my little story time. I'm going to tell you about it. Hobbling or walking
that
in a
is
circle.
not a good Vernon impression.
Listen here, y'all.
I normally am on board for your impressions, but I'm sorry, I don't know who you are right now.
I need to stick a bunch of
You
bubble
lost
gum in my
me.
mouth first and talk with the wad in there.
Yeah, she didn't sound like that to me. But she asks if Marshall mentioned someone named Old Man Corcoran.
Yeah, you mentioned old man Corcoran.
Oh God, it's getting worse somehow. It's worse than it was when it started. Lacking Gerald's bongos, but with her own flair, Vernon imparts the story of an old groundskeeper who used to dig the graves by day, guard the yard by night, and play his harmonica in the meantime.
They say he was crazy. They say he caught this kid stealing something from his shack, so he took an axe and cut his hand off. Wham!
It doesn't sound like he caught charges for that. But then one day, while digging a grave,
Kids don't ask questions.
the hole caved in and he was buried alive. Some say he can still be heard patrolling the graveyard for trespassers, playing his harmonica in the distance. Haunted Train Blues, anyone?
Oh, yeah. I thought about that.
Thought about that a lot. Hand in hand with the buried alive panic of the 1800s, there are oft-repeated variations of this story throughout rural England and about early frontier cemeteries in the US, although actual accidents, like actual graves caving in on people digging them, was pretty rare.
I would imagine so. I mean, the earth is held together pretty good.
And I mean, it did happen, but it was not like a widespread problem.
Wells would cave in all the time, but that's because you're digging down
super
dozens
deep, and
of
you're
feet.
digging to water. I mean, you're digging to like earth that is less stable.
Yeah,
on purpose.
Graves are arguably much wider than like a well hole being dug. But
just ask the kids at Camp Green Lake.
hey,
But though actual incidents of like deaths or reported deaths were rare, there is a ton of British and Irish folklore about phantom gravediggers, both protective and ominous.
oh, hell yeah.
Historically, many gravediggers were buried in the same cemetery that they worked in, which probably helped inspire the idea that they might never truly leave their post. I feel like we haven't done a good ghost story exchange in a while.
It's been a while.
And since we were lacking, many specific real-world examples of grave collapses, I took the liberty of finding us a few phantom gravedigger stories to share, but none quite so deranged as Corcoran is painted to be.
I'm pumped about this, though. I don't care. The Eternal Gravedigger of Westminster Burial Grounds. One of the most famous phantom gravedigger stories involves Edgar Tuttle, a real cemetery worker who served there from 1885 to 1923. Shortly after his death, workers reportedly found graves mysteriously repaired overnight. Soil would appear freshly tamped down and headstones straightened even though no one had worked there. One gravedigger claimed he saw a lantern-lit figure emerging from Tuttle's grave around midnight, moving through the cemetery as if checking the plots. Legend says Tuttle loved his job so much that he kept tending the graves after death.
So a ghostly gravedigger.
I love that.
An
I mean, if you
eternal
think about
gravedigger.
it, graveyards shouldn't be haunted.
Mm-mm.
Because no one dies in a graveyard. I mean, sometimes
true.
people do. I wonder
It's just
what
the
the
place
stats
where the
are
dead people are.
on deaths in graveyards would be, but that's just where they bury the bodies.
Right.
If a ghost is going to hang around, it's going to be where they died.
Yeah. That's
But if a
good point.
gravedigger lives there, if they
lives
live on
there,
the grounds,
serves there, works
serves
there, and is buried there.
You're more, what are the stats on most likely dying at your desk at work, at your
Right.
job?
Right.
Because you spend most of your life at work. Most people do anyway.
Dying on the clock.
Dying on the clock. And that's the one place I don't want to die is at work. But
Same.
I don't know. I work from home, so it wouldn't be that bad. Like mid-podcast episode, face down on the desk, I'm out. Gone.
Hey, you left a legacy.
I'd be doing what I love doing.
We had it on air. We have it on video. We have it captured.
I'd be famous.
At least we'd go viral or something.
We just talked about that last time. Dying famously.
No, but there's something haunting about this one to me specifically because it's a ghost who's caring for other dead souls. Like a human caring for dead souls is one thing, and that we'll talk about it in a minute, but it takes a very special person to do a job like this. I feel like a ghost doing this, an eternal gravedigger, somebody that's constantly like tamping down the dirt, straightening the headstones, like keeping everything in order.
I love that
like,
idea though.
You're taking care of your own almost. It's like you're always doing that, right? A human is taking care of humanity, but I don't know. It's just interesting that it could be a ghost in that role.
I know this is like super on brand and people probably roll their eyes at it, but I'd love to work in a graveyard. I've thought about seeking part-time work, like
At a
graveyard
graveyard.
work.
Yeah.
I have. I genuinely thought about it,
They can
I don't have
be
the
really
time.
peaceful places.
I don't have the time, but I love being in graveyards and I wouldn't need much. I go to them for free all the time. So
I do see videos sometimes. There are a couple creators that I really like who do like that clean headstones.
Yeah.
So they do just like
I think that would be
getting all the
it's
like
noble work.
Yeah.
But it's also
sediment
I
off
can see it being
and
very,
like just washing things and cleaning them up and making them readable so that the legacy of these deceased can live on,
Absolutely.
I think it's really cool.
I can see it being like almost meditative, almost calming in a way, because you're not just doing something that benefits you, you're also doing something that benefits time and history, like human history.
Yeah, I agree. And we'll talk more about that soon. But I have another gravedigger story for you.
Yeah.
Mine is the Phantom Gravedigger of El Campo Santo. The cemetery dates back to 1849, and it was partially paved over when a streetcar line was built in the 1800s, disturbing many of the graves. Witness reports include a man in old-fashioned work clothes carrying a shovel. This figure appears to be digging or tending graves that no longer exist. There aren't even graves there anymore. And he's been seen both inside the cemetery and on the road above the buried graves.
That would be a much more sad version, is tending to graves that aren't there anymore.
That aren't even there. That aren't actually there.
I can't imagine.
And what an echo. Like the word, that's all I can think is like the word echo. Just the idea that like this isn't even there. It isn't what he thought it was when he passed, but he passed when the cemetery was here. And so Do you know what I mean?
That's
like,
not all progress is good progress.
Yeah, paving over a graveyard. Like I think about it in terms of natural disasters more often. Like you see like a flood or something, like graves are displaced, and like how sad that is when that happens. But something like this, it's
when
totally
Mother Nature
like
decides,
preventable. It's time. At least it's Mother Nature. In this case, it's like this is preventable. Men didn't have to do this, and they paved over a graveyard.
Yeah, talk about paving paradise.
Yeah,
putting up a highway,
putting up a parking lot, really where it doesn't need to be.
It feels like Poltergeist, though. You moved the gravestones, but you didn't move the bodies. You know, the bodies are still there. That's why the neighborhood's haunted.
And how often does that happen? You know what I mean?
Probably
Like
a lot.
I think about that kind of thing as
They're supposed
progress.
To be protected.
Like you said, gentrification. Things are expanding. Things are changing. Neighborhoods are different. Like it's not convenient to have a cemetery here. And what about all of the like tiny little church cemeteries and stuff? Right. Like tiny little church cemeteries, like that have maybe 20 bodies. You know what I mean? Like little tiny like cemeteries where people are just like, you know what? We could just move the headstones and put the parking lot here, and no one would ever know. Like
old
how often does that happen?
Generations of a family are buried out in the on the hill. They're just bodies in the ground at that point.
Right.
Or like Indian burial mounds, things like that.
Yeah, just visited some of those, and it's haunting because you know that there were so many lives lived, like people
go
that
walk
existed.
Up on top of them and take pictures on them.
Yeah.
Cemeteries, I've looked into how to purchase a cemetery. Roll your eyes if you want to, but I'm going to do it one day, and I'm going to open a vineyard and have haunted wine tours.
Haunted wine?
Yep. But I might even call it the haunted vine or something like that. Who knows?
The haunted vine.
Pre-order your tickets for the tours. But there's a stretch of highway in Daphne where there's a similar urban legend of a grave of a man. They paved over it. There was a lot of legality involved, a lot of bureaucracy, and eventually the city won and paved that portion of the highway despite efforts to protect the grave where the guy was buried from a long, long time ago. And they literally just did the Poltergeist thing and said, if we won't move his body, we're just going to pave this on top of him. And they did it. It's
so tricky because, okay, this road needs to go here. That's what's most convenient for the people who are living and alive and like using this area and like living and like conducting business and whatever. But then the ethics of like exhuming a body, like moving graves, like that is a whole process. It's a whole, and it's just.
It is.
Once, we talk about that sometimes too. Once everyone that knew you is gone, once all the memories of you are gone, like who's going to protest your grave being like paved over? You know what I mean? Like it's just the way of the world, like humans keep going. And there aren't easy answers to these questions and these problems really.
Yeah.
And that's why we have ghost grave diggers, ghost groundskeepers to try and keep everything in line.
That's why we have so many stories too about pissing off the dead. And risking their ghost coming back from the grave because you don't honor their
resting place, their final resting place.
The final resting place. Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, you don't disturb the dead. It's not something I ever want to do.
Me neither.
The Silent Cemetery Gravedigger at Peoria State Hospital Cemetery. A patient known as Old Book worked digging graves at the hospital cemetery in the early 1900s. Stories say he would stand by an elm tree and mourn the dead after funerals. After his death in 1910, witnesses claimed to see a silent figure near the graves late at night. Some say the ghost appears where he used to lean against the tree.
It's another case of like somebody doing something they did in life. Like this ghost is doing the thing that the human did over and over and over. It just so happened that human was mourning at, funerals, burial services.
That's wild to me.
I mean, the ghost kept doing the same thing.
I'm more like interested by the fact that this guy mourns the dead he buries. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's got to be a rare thing too. Eventually it's just a job, right? But this guy's like,
man, I've been watching The Pit, and it's the kind of thing where, when somebody passes, you stop and honor the life that's gone. Mm-hmm. Even if it is just a job, even though it is a job to you, not just a job.
That's where the moment of silence comes from, right?
There's something else. Like it's beyond us. It is the loss of a spirit. And I think personally, if you do go into that line of work, like you have to have some reverence for it. I have one more gravedigger story for you, which is about the American cemetery omen, which happened in Mississippi in the early 1900s. Ooh. It was said that a night watchman at a cemetery near Natchez claimed that he heard shovels scraping dirt around 2 a.m. He saw a tall man digging a grave, but the worker didn't respond when he was spoken to. And when the watchman walked closer, the man faded into darkness, and the hole in the ground was gone. 2 days later, a burial took place in that exact plot after a local resident died unexpectedly. And the watchman reportedly refused to work nights after that happened.
So what? It was like a premonition?
Mm-hmm. An omen, yeah.
An omen.
A gravedigger was digging a grave for a person that hadn't yet died, and then the gravedigger disappeared.
What kind of entity is that?
I don't know. It feels sort of Reaper-like, though, to me.
I was thinking Grim Reaper,
yeah,
but
it knows something
why
we
would
don't.
it be digging the grave? Wouldn't it be like haunting the guy with its, its sickle?
Sights? Yeah.
Just like hanging out, like, I'm coming for you, punk. Like,
but that one...
That gets me.
That gets me too. That's pretty spooky because, and there honestly were a lot of stories like that were more preemptive in nature. Like there was a groundskeeper, there was someone that saw like a grave being dug or something, and it wasn't actually the case. And then someone passed like right after that. Many of these sightings describe that sound of digging, like a shovel in dirt, before a figure is even seen.
It's a distinct sound.
Even when the ground hasn't been disturbed, it's just that sound of a shovel in dirt. We keep saying that it takes a certain type of personality to work in like mortuary services, but I would argue that it takes an even more specific personality to work digging graves, especially pre-modern technology. Because like you said, there's an element of meditative, service. There's a nobility to it. You're doing something for your fellow man, that kind of thing. In a lot of like dystopian shows and apocalyptic shows, they take great care to like make sure they're digging graves for their dead. It's like this moment of reverence of you deserve to be buried in a proper resting place. Like it's almost like it's vulgar for their corpse to not be buried, like you deserve to be put to rest, that kind of idea.
Yeah, like burying Dobby without magic.
Yeah. 2 sullen fictional characters come to mind that define the profession for me in childhood. One, you can probably guess, is the Haunted Mansion's caretaker, Silas Crump.
Yeah.
The caretaker with the dog out in the graveyard of the Haunted Mansion.
That lantern.
And the other, the extra jumpy and fearful gravedigger from Mary-Kate and Ashley's Double Double Toil and Trouble. The idea of a gravedigger, when I think the word gravedigger, there are two, like those two come to mind, and also a gravedigger in the Boo to You parade at Magic Kingdom. Oh. Where they are using their shovels as like
they're dancing with their shovels.
Yeah, they're dancing with the shovels, and there's sparks on the pavement and all that stuff. So gravedigger has
they do the circle thing and they do the sparks. Oh, that's good stuff, man.
It's one of my favorite things. Like the idea of a gravedigger has a very specific image, like from my childhood mind, I guess. But it takes a very special person, and clearly you can be like very connected to it and very like reverent of it, or like these examples, it can kind of create some paranoia within your psyche. Back in Kiki's story, Jack scoffs, saying his grandma is scarier than that, and Kenny, clearly less sure of himself, backs him up, saying these kids should see their old neighborhood. Now that's scary.
Yeah, I like to see how long you last in there, Vermin.
That's Vernon.
Whatever.
He played it so angry. Jack
I know,
did.
but there so many of these kids play it so angry the whole time. Like
he didn't have to be so
the one
mad.
girl, when she ends up being like, I know we're not there yet, but she's like,
Are we gonna play or stand around talking?
are we gonna play or what? We're gonna keep talking about this? Like,
right.
She gets so
we're
upset.
Just mad, and we're just gonna be mad, and that's what we're gonna be.
Why we need new players in our game?
Yeah, your Vernon accent.
Just call me Vernon.
Vernon continues to taunt, but the other kids get restless, and Marshall lays down the rest of the law.
The tree's home base. Anything outside the fence is out of bounds. Last one in is it.
Most resources say that hide and seek is likely a very ancient and instinctual childhood game from time immemorial, which I love because it's just so like baked in. Mm-hmm. It's baked into who we are. It's not something that we necessarily even have to be fully taught. It's just passed down and passed down and passed down, and it's a natural thing for us to do. Mm-hmm. And it was also found in a painting discovered at Herculaneum, an ancient Roman town buried by Vesuvius, like the volcano Vesuvius, dating back to about the 2nd century. So this is an old game. It's so old that like the first references to it are ancient text.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like it's that old. It's also mentioned in Elizabethan English texts, including Shakespeare's Love Labour's Lost. Like, everybody knows what hide and seek is.
Did he call it hide and seek?
Back and back and back. I think it was called hide and seek or something very close. And if not directly called hide and seek, it was just like the game was referenced. It was being played.
Yeah, I mean, no, this is a game that was played, before it even had a name.
Before people had a name, before people had something to call it. It was
somebody... when once language existed, somebody said, "Come and find me."
Ready or not, here I come.
A game was born. The game.
I had no idea about this, but there is an actual hide and seek world championship competition, or there used to be anyway. It was held in Italy from 2010 to 2017. And the winners of this hide and seek competition would receive a golden fig leaf, which is, of course, the biblical symbol for hiding.
Wow.
So I don't know.
Surprised.
That was interesting.
They'll make
to
anything
me.
reality TV.
I had no idea. Like, yeah, I guess there is like the YouTube competitions and like Mr. Beast and stuff, but this wasn't reality TV. This was
I'm
like
thinking of like X Games.
Yeah, this was more X Games adjacent. I think this was like the parkour. You know what I mean? This is the world championship of hide and seek.
All those Japanese game
athletic.
shows that they would dub
there's
on
a lot
like
of that stuff too.
I don't know if it was like MTV or Adult Swim or I don't even know what it was, but they would provide this ridiculous, obviously scripted commentary of these Japanese game shows. What's that called? That was so fun.
Silent Library.
I don't know.
I remember that one. But yeah, hide and seek has been with us for as long as we've been us. The most common ending in hide and seek is that the player chosen as it locates all the players, and the player found first is the loser and chosen to be it in the next game. And then the player found last is the winner. But another common variation, it's the one that they seem to be playing here in this episode, and the one that I remember best, has the seeker counting at like a home base, and the hiders can either remain hidden or they can come out of hiding to race to like tag home base. Right. And then once they touch it, they're safe and they can't be tagged. That's what I remember. Like, I guess I did play it both ways, but I remember playing with a home base where the object was to get back there without the seeker finding you.
I think everybody played their own way, the way that their family or their cousins or their friends like to play. But yeah, I think we played every different version.
Like, what are your house
rules? I think
rules?
we played different versions just for the hell of it, I think. We're like, okay, well, now we're going to play it like this. Because I think we just knew all the different
sardines,
versions.
you know, there's also sardines.
I was about to say, my favorite version is sardines. I always thought that was so fun because you have the same like jump scare element, the same surprise that comes with the normal gameplay. But then there's the added conflict, you know, of having to fit into a tight space because inevitably the person hiding picks the smallest space possible. Eventually, you're just like burgeoning out of this hiding space.
There's kids falling out of cabinets and stuff. And I feel like Sardines was also the one that got played at like the weird youth group, like church lock-in thing.
It was.
And it's like, I feel like there were like agreements between players so that like
how close we could get.
A couple could get in there early.
I'm going to hide here. Come find me.
Right. I never did that, but I am sure that it was happening around me. And I was just like, you know, I kind of ignored it.
I have like vague memories of people being like, I'm going to go hide here.
Right. Like letting somebody know where they're going to hide so that they can be the first two in the sardines, like in the sardine can, you know?
Ready?
The tin.
Go!
The round starts and Jack is already over it. He thinks it's lame and they should just go home. But Kenny's concerned that if they quit now, they'll never make any friends. And then he pauses to read a headstone, which says,
Remember, friends, as you pass by. As you are now, so once was I. Remember in life that you must die. Yuck.
Where have we heard this before?
We've talked about this epitaph before. Like, I've seen it in several graveyards around here. I remember I took a picture of it, so it must be in like a very early episode of ours.
Is that the one that you have a picture of?
I do, yeah. Yeah, from years and years and years ago.
Because we talked about that on the show.
We talked about it in that episode. I cannot remember when it was, but I had a vivid memory of discussing it. But similar verses became popular through the 18th and 19th centuries. Hopefully Darkling out there is like, yeah, it's in this episode. We know what you're talking about. But just in case, I jotted down some of the other popular like versions of this because it's just, I really like it.
Remember, man, as you go by. As you are now, so once was I. As I am now, so shall you be. Prepare yourself to follow me.
I like that one. It has like the right syllables, the right, you know, cadence. I think it works.
I've been where you are. You're going to be where I am one day.
It is haunting, but I feel like it's haunting in a good way because
It's
anybody that's
memento
in a
mori.
graveyard, it's memento mori. Yeah, I wrote that down as well. Like, that's what gets to me about it. Like, we all know we're going to be there one day, but it is so, it's almost impossible, even as much as you and I think about it, to actually picture yourself as the one underground. And something about these verses
I think about it all
gives
the time.
that person like a persona. They're speaking to you. It's not just their name. It's not, you know, they are saying something to you. And they chose to say that before
It's
they're
a
passing.
meme.
It's a meme. But they chose this thing to say before they're passing because they wanted to continue that cycle, that loop. They wanted to remind you of something once they were gone. And I can totally see why this got popular.
Yeah.
Another one is, stop, traveler, and cast an eye. As you are now, so once was I. Prepare in time, make no delay. For youth and time will pass away.
That's good. That's good.
Don't we know it? They'll pass away faster than you think.
Swiftly.
Unless you're here with us listening to our show where youth is eternal.
Once I stood where thou dost now, and viewed the dead as thou dost me. Ere long thou'lt lie as low as I, and others stand and look on thee.
Clearly an Irish rendition. But they're all...
Oh, once I stood where thou dost now. Break out
They're
the
all
old St.
very
Patrick's Day
simple.
leprechaun.
And I'm not sure if this one is like an Are You Afraid of the Dark original or if it's just one more in the chain. But this trend spanned countries and like centuries. Like, it was just something that became very popular. And I appreciate that it did because we all do have something in common. We all have death in common. We all have that in common. And it links us together even further, I feel like.
Yeah, it is the one thing that we all truly have in common.
The Ulster
Birth and
Historical
death.
Foundation, which is an Irish resource actually, so good looking out, further describes the phenomenon, saying, although this verse and its variants ostensibly represent the warning words of the deceased, they were clearly written, the intervention of necromancers notwithstanding, by the living. One could read them as a didactic message from the conservative church, some form of shock therapy aimed at controlling the aberrant behavior of the flock, or merely an ironic comment on the transient nature of mortality. But human nature being what it is, one will always encounter individual iconoclasts striving to undercut the strictures of society. Reputedly, some rather jaundiced souls, doubtless peeved at the perceived smugness of the verse, were wont to add on a terse, telling, two-fingered riposte. I won't be content until I know which way you went.
Oh. Hey.
So kind of like sticking it to whoever's reading, like, you're going to go to heaven or hell, I guess,
Right.
is the implication. And you know what I mean? Like, you're preparing for something, and I personally won't be content until I know which it
Two-fingered
is.
repast, huh? Is that
Yeah.
kind of like a as above, so below
No.
sort of
Hey,
thing?
okay. We can work with that.
I'm here for it.
Jack entertains himself by pretending to push Kenny into a freshly dug grave, and they traipse the increasingly wooded landscape, now on a mission to find Old Man Corcoran. They happen upon a cabin, and when they hear an axe, they dive behind the woodpile. Jack is excited, thinking they can jump out and scare whoever's coming. The method that we sometimes talk about in this, like, he thinks he's the scary thing in this equation. He thinks he's the
Right.
scary thing in the woods. It's his friends, it's these kids, and he's going to come out on top. He's going to best them somehow.
Nah, man, they think they're going to get me. I'm going to get them.
Right.
Even though they know I'm here.
But as happens in most games of hide and seek, as they wait, they get antsy.
You think they brought an axe all the way out here just to play a joke on us?
That's what I would do.
What if it's really Old Man Corcoran?
You've seen too many movies.
But then, the axe stops swinging, the door shuts, and they rise to assess the ghost potential. But there, waiting on the stump, is the harmonica.
If I just met these kids,
Yeah.
hanging out, they're being creepy about this hazing graveyard ritual they've got with their games and their darkness and their ghost stories. And then the whole concept of they brought an axe out here just to scare us.
Right.
After telling us a story about a guy who chopped a kid's hand off.
With an axe.
I'm going to be like, they are the scary thing in the dark. Let's go home, kid,
Right,
brother.
they're after us. Yeah, this is a problem.
They're going to fucking kill us. I mean,
I
are
don't
you
trust
kidding?
people like that. I definitely don't. I couldn't.
No,
but
if
again,
I
in
hear
this
that,
time, it's
I'm
just
out.
different. It's kids and kids, and they think if you're a kid, then you're safe. It's like an automatically assumed
I don't
thing.
trust teenagers. They're scary.
They're all like, around 13.
They're a scary clan. They'll do anything because they think they're eternal. They don't understand
Teenagers scare
consequences.
the living shit out of me. Also, they didn't really pick a lane here because, like, I think of like Ghost Bride.
Yeah.
There's an axe. That's like the scary thing. That's the icon of the ghost.
They chose this guy's iconography as the axe and the harmonica instead of the gravedigger's shovel.
Yeah, just totally forgoes the shovel. He's a gravedigger.
It's a gravedigger. What do gravediggers have? Shovels. Why is he out chopping wood? It's not cold.
And I mean, shovels can be used as a weapon. Like maybe he just knocked a kid out, knocked a kid into a grave. I don't know.
He's from Home Alone. Yeah, why didn't he use his sharpened spade to cut the kid's hand off? You know what I mean? Why is he chopping wood? That doesn't play into the story.
He's chopping wood, he's playing a harmonica, and he has a shovel. Like, the dude only has 2 hands.
What is this? The old man from Tailypo? No, he's not a hillbilly. He's a gravedigger.
But I agree. Like, the idea that it had to be all 3 things is really funny to me. They're all pretty ghostly. Like, they do add to the ghost.
You gotta have the spooky music, which we're gonna get to, in a second.
They add to the ghost persona, but yeah, I don't know. In my experience, it takes 2 hands to like swing an axe, So you're swinging an axe, you don't even have room for the harmonica at that point. It's all separate.
Well, the harmonica's in his mouth.
Right, but then it's just in his mouth. He's playing while he's swinging the axe. But yeah, you need your hands.
No, you can play it you can just put it in your mouth and just blow.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Finally, both spooked enough to get out of Dodge, they make their way back toward the graves, just in time for a girl to spring out from behind a headstone with a cry of, "Ollie, Ollie, oxen free." She bolts past them, almost through them. And when they turn to go after her, they're face to face with none other than Old Man Corcoran, giving us one of the most haunting still frames of the season of the show.
Yeah.
This is Canadian actor David Francis, who we've talked about before because he played a very similar role way back in season 1 in The Tale of the Hungry Hounds. Giles.
That was him?
He was Giles.
Oh my God.
And it's not the last we'll see of David Francis either.
Typecast.
A classic shot of the brothers screaming in terror takes us to a commercial break, and when we rejoin, they're running full speed through the graveyard, climbing up and over the fence. Kenny gets stuck again, but wouldn't you know it, they make it out just in the nick of time.
With a nick in his pants.
Yeah, he definitely ripped his pants.
Yeah, he's lucky that all he snagged and ripped open.
Very delicate area.
In the crotch of his jeans.
The next morning, we find them in a very lived-in garage for only a week of being on the block, where Jack is putting away an axe. Like, it opens, he's holding an axe, and he, like, makes a face at it and puts it away. Like, okay, DJ, that's funny. He's frustrated that they're having to clean the garage because Kenny ripped his pants, so they're being punished.
It should have been that they snuck out. That's why they got in trouble.
That's why they got in trouble. Yeah,
not because he ripped his pants. He's a kid playing. But
I can see why that would be the reason, because the mom is strapped for cash. She's in school. Like you get this background. But they wouldn't both be
punished. If she's gonna punish a kid for getting a hole in his pants, she'd just punish the kid who got the hole in his pants. It wouldn't be both of them.
Speaking as an older sibling, she would probably also punish the older brother that took the younger brother to the place where he ripped his pants.
I don't get it.
I don't know.
It's not like they went next door and graffitied the walls saying, "Help me, help me, help me," and backwards, like the...
I thought about the Lonely Ghost a couple times.
I wish Mom never went back to school. Then we wouldn't have moved and we'd still be with our old friends.
Mom went through a lot to get us out of that old neighborhood. Don't ever wish we were back there in front of her.
Dude.
I feel like that's pretty perceptive and thoughtful for the kid who's like too cool for school, mad at everything. Like that seems like a line that should have...
He misses his own neighborhood, Yeah. Why is he the one defending the move?
Exactly. Of the two of them, I feel like that line should have come from Jack.
I knew who I was there. I don't know who I am here.
Mm-hmm. And that's what he's trying to do this whole time, is define himself.
Yeah. Man, what kind of job did she get to pull them out of the most dangerous neighborhood in Canada to this very rich, upscale, suburban neighborhood?
Yeah.
What kind of job did she get?
And buy them super soakers to boot.
And a full garage of stuff, but not 2 pairs of pants for her son.
Again, as they're mid-conversation, their new friends practically appear at the garage door.
Okay, my thinking is it's not because they're ghosts. It's because this scene got chopped up, and that's how it all shook out.
I think it was intentional. I think it was an intentional nod. Of course, now you've spoiled the whole episode for our dear darklings.
Oh my God, I can't believe I ruined it for everybody who hasn't seen this episode.
I think that it was intentional, that they were just, boom, here we are. Boom, here we are. And the reason I think that is because the same thing happens when Marshall first appears in the driveway. We don't see them ride up. We just see them appear.
We do, though. We see them riding down the street.
Do
they
we?
come over the hill, and then we see them riding down the street.
Okay.
And then they kind of appear in front of the house, but we do see them.
It's a quick cut. I think it's meant to feel like the atmosphere of the thing.
It's obviously supposed to be because they're ghosts.
Yeah.
But we still
You just
see
don't
them.
think they had enough coverage to
I don't think
make
they
it
had
smoother.
enough coverage. They didn't. Because if that's the case, if you're right, they would have had a jump. They would have said, "Whoa, where'd you guys come from?"
And they could
didn't
have
react.
They could have reacted to that. That would be nice.
They acted like they'd already been having a conversation. We just
And
missed
then
a few
turn
cuts
around
back
and look, and there they are. Yeah.
Because they were also facing the door,
That's
having this
true.
conversation.
Right.
So it's not like they just appeared behind them and they turned around and said, "Oh shit, what are you
Well,
doing?"
then, yeah, maybe the idea is that they watched them come up. We just didn't get to.
And I'm exactly, and I'm
they
all
didn't know the
fine.
coverage.
I'm all fine with that.
I'll say that I wanted it to be an intentional choice, but we aren't certain whether it was or not. I wanted it to be a directorial choice. I wanted it to be intentional. So yeah, maybe we have to ask DJ.
Hey, so you guys playing tonight? Tonight? Again? Well, you didn't get to finish the game last night.
Kenny tries to bow out gracefully, claiming they
think
aren't
we're
up to it, but Vernon steps forward and calls them chicken, to which Jack takes great offense.
Nothing worse than being called a chicken. I'll do the
Doesn't bother
thing
me.
that scares me.
I can take that one. I can take that one on the chin.
No, me too. I honestly, that was always like my biggest point of pride as a kid is I never gave in to peer pressure.
Yeah,
I don't
me
care.
neither.
I don't care what you think, you know?
I made it such a big deal for myself. Like I didn't give in on, like it was like a core trait of mine. Like if it were a peer pressure moment, if it was that sort of situation, I'm never going to do something just because people told me that I should.
Yeah.
I was really stubborn about that.
I was too. Probably just how I was socialized with the Christianization of all my choices that I had to make.
Sure. Like, yeah, youth group lectures, Sunday school.
I was brainwashed into saying no to everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I just naturally did it.
We both were for a long time.
Jesus will be proud of me.
I won't make any friends, but Jesus will be proud of me. Marshall says Vernon just told them the story to scare them because she doesn't want anyone else joining the group. And he's a bit dejected when he continues. I thought you said you weren't afraid of ghosts. Jack says that he said that he would believe it when he saw it, and he saw it. But Marshall thinks that they just heard the story and their minds filled in the rest. Vernon does some classic chicken clucking, bark, bark, which, of course, does the trick. If being called a chicken wasn't enough, if somebody clucked at you, did that sweeten the deal where you're like, you know what? Yeah, I don't sound like that. That's not me. Nope.
Yeah, I mean, it was at that point that I realized they were just stupid. You know, I was like, oh, so you don't
when kids clucked at you, you were like, yeah, that says a lot more about you than it does about me.
You don't just think that you have any influence over me, but now you're making stupid sound effects and thinking it's going to affect me at all.
You know, I can't remember ever really being clucked at except for one time.
No, I was never
it was neighborhood kids who like I didn't really know that were like friends of my neighborhood friends. And they were like gonna ride their bike somewhere, like go down some ditch. Like they were doing something that I was not going to do. And I remember being clucked at that one time. And I thought the same thing where I was like, you're dumb. Like this is a dumb thing that's happening.
You just sound stupid.
I'm like, 10 years old. And I'm like, this isn't having the effect that you think that it's having. Not at all. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Those were not my people. Those are not my friends. You hear that? Anybody that clucks at you?
You know, and
probably doesn't have your best interest in mind.
If you're the one doing the clucking, maybe reevaluate. Just reassess.
Darklings, have you ever clucked at anybody?
Jack, I don't want to make friends that bad.
This isn't about making friends anymore, Kenny. We gotta prove we can handle it here. We're gonna play their game.
See that?
Hazing. It's hazing.
I mean, I feel like that's where it lost me because I was just like, how hard of a game of hide and seek is this? You know what I mean? How tough is this game?
Mm-hmm. But it's not even that it's a tough game. It's that you're putting yourself in so much discomfort. You've just seen a ghost. You've been told a ghost story. And
no, I just think it's funny. It sounds like gang initiation. You know, they're like,
that's hazing.
We used to duck when there was gunfire.
Mm-hmm.
This is worse, but we can handle it. It's like,
we can handle it here. We've been through so much already. We're going to play their game, he says. And he says it with this like snarl about it. We're going to play their game.
Oh,
we can do it.
Cheesy. I probably would have like seen this as, when I saw this as a kid, I probably would have been like, yeah, you show them, man. You can do it.
I don't know. I really don't know what I would do in that circumstance. Like, if it's legitimate, having the experiences that I just had this weekend, I thought I was all big and bad. I'm not. I'm really, truly not.
You're
so
not.
I might be a Kenny, and I might be like, you know what? I'll stay home. I can be on the couch. I'll watch a scary movie. Let's watch a ghost story. Like,
can we just go
sounds
like, watch
great.
this happen to somebody else?
I'd love to watch this happen to somebody else. I would not like it to happen to me.
I'll
Thank
play
you.
a video game. Where
Like I
this happens
said,
to someone.
I can see the value in getting out, outside, doing the thing, going somewhere, having an adventure. But
You see the
if I
you
see
the, value
ghost
in
itself, I don't want to go
verbing?
back to the place.
Do you remember verbing? The verbing commercials? Get out and verb.
Verbing. Yeah. Yeah. Verb. Mhm.
Verb.
Back when commercials were actually encouraging kids to get away from the
Yeah.
TV instead of the algorithms that were sucking their souls into their iPads.
Back when we used to encourage physical activity and reading.
Mhm. Yeah.
When that was important to the powers
No
that be.
longer a priority
Mm-mm.
to media companies.
No. That encourages
at
too
all.
much free thinking. Why would they want you to do that?
Be here. What's the big deal about letting them in the group anyway?
I'm tired of the same people all the time. We haven't had any new players since
I joined? And you said after me there wasn't gonna be any more.
Yes, you
And of course, if you haven't seen the episode yet, you haven't seen it before, if the twist is eluding you, these are really weird sticking points for kids to have just in conversation, like in a game.
I don't
but
know.
You
I think-
recognize what's happening with the twist. As you said, these aren't just kids playing a game, and it takes on a whole new meaning.
I think it makes more sense for living children to have this conversation, especially the new kid who's like, I'm the newest, coolest, most interesting, exciting member of this group. We don't need new people. I could see her having an attitude.
Right.
But like also growing up, I liked our friend group. We didn't want new kids.
You don't
We
want to
wanted-
change the dynamic. There is
No.
that risk of like, it's going to
Yeah.
make things different.
We
it's
all
going to
knew
feel
who
different.
we were. We all had our roles. To
Mhm.
introduce a new kid, it got political.
It's like a
almost.
risk. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
because
hierarchy.
What if Patrick thinks that guy's cooler than he thinks I am?
Whoa.
What if he hangs out with that guy more than me?
I am
What if
more
when
in the
Salvador
camp-
comes back from Mexico, he hangs out with him
Wow.
instead of me? And they
this
did.
is deep seated.
And
This
they
is
didn't
really
invite,
deep-seated.
They
You're
also
breathing
didn't
heavy.
invite. They also didn't invite Salvador's cousin Chris, who he lived with, his American cousin Chris. So they still invite me, and they wouldn't invite Chris. So I mean, at least I was cooler than Chris.
You were cool. Yeah, you beat out Chris in the hierarchy.
I did, but everybody wanted to hang out with Salvador, and you know what the best thing
Man,
is? Salvador
the
would come
best
hang
thing.
out with me.
So you were like the social, you were top tier
Yeah, top
of the
dog.
bike gang. Top dog of the bike gang.
I wasn't though. It was Patrick. I was always Patrick.
It's good you know that. It's good you recognize that.
No,
It's
no,
good.
I understand my role as a beta.
You know your place.
I know my place. I get it.
I don't know. I don't really think of it like that so much. I was the kid that was usually like, we all have our trepidation about new things or like meeting somebody new. But I was always really excited when like new kids joined the homeschool group. Like I was I wanted to know how it would change the dynamic. I was like, okay, like, are they more like this? Are they going to get along with so-and-so? Like what if, what if they're into this thing that I'm into? Like that was always my hope, was that I would find some like new ways to connect to these new kids in the group. Yeah. My favorite story that I tell about my best friend Logan, when I was in 8th grade, I had like the list of kids that were going to be taking the SAT because my mom was like proctoring. She was like in charge of it. And it was only 4 or 5 of us. And there was a person named Logan that I'd never seen before. And I came from classes over and over and over where it was all boys. It was all boys. And then I was like the only girl in the class, like over and over. It was my elementary school before I was homeschooled. And then even after that, it was just, there were no girls my age. And I remember walking into the test, like the SAT that morning, and seeing a girl sitting there. And I was like, you're a girl. Like Logan was a girl. Never mind the fact that my middle name is Logan. But like, I was thrilled that there was this new person entering the dynamic of
This is
like
the
my
Logan I
tiny
know?
little class. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah, the
all right.
Logan you
This
know.
is the origin story.
The origin story of me and Logan.
SATs. Never thought it helped
SATs.
anybody make friends.
The very Logan that
But it did.
that wanted me to watch Last Unicorn. But yeah, the SATs brought Logan and I together, and we've been together ever since 8th grade. But it's that kind of idea that like, to me, it was super exciting that this person was going to change this dynamic that I knew, and like how and why, and like where do I fit, and how, I don't know.
Yeah.
We had different approaches. Also, there were fewer kids where I was from.
I mean,
so
it
really,
was-
it was just any new blood was exciting.
It was different at school, though. The new kid at school was always an exciting experience because they went to a small little private school. So I had a similar.
Yeah.
experience with new kids. We have the new school year starts, and there's a bunch of new kids walking around.
Right, like where are you from? Like international students, stuff like that. Where you just get exposed to more stuff, more culture.
Yeah, it was always a fun experience, but not in the neighborhood gang. We don't need you guys.
No,
you can come play with us this one time.
It was too close to home, I guess.
Literally.
Too close to home. Cue Jack and Kenny's entrance, who are instructed to be it together. They close their eyes, hands on the tree, and count to 10. And I was surprised that they only counted to 10. I know it's a TV show. I know we don't want to be sitting there watching, but they didn't even like trail off. They just counted to 10 and then they turned around to go seek. And it's like these people haven't gotten 10 feet from the tree.
You're watching a movie and somebody starts a microwave, or like a fan kicks on. You hear the noise, but it fades out. After like 5 to 10 seconds.
1, 2, 3. They could have just done a fade out, fade in kind of deal. Whatever.
Yeah, but it's because they had to have a conversation. They had to have a dialogue and talk about it and get going. Yeah, you're right though. I don't know.
But I will say that something about the ritual of this moment made me react viscerally, because I remember that feeling of like touching the tree, tree or whatever it is, turning around,
thing on the tree.
Closing your eyes. Where you're like on your arm, close your eyes, and you're counting. And that
because you have integrity, so you're not cheating, you're not peeking to see where people are hiding.
Honestly, hide and seek is used in a lot of different like psychological, not experiments, but like to test certain things about groups of kids or children's behavior, because that's a thing. Like the integrity to not peek as you're like it.
Can we involve that in the presidential like primaries and like as an aspect of the like campaigning? Yeah. Can we see how they play hide and seek?
Put them all in a game of hide and seek and let us watch. Televise it.
Honestly, I'd love to see it.
Because it does tell you a lot about a person.
It really does.
It tells you about
they
like,
hide,
their fight or flight. It's a really good litmus test. Like for personality.
And just watching politicians run would be a lot of fun. Because like, it stopped being cool after Clinton did it.
Yeah.
He was the last running president, I think, that was like, I mean, Obama's pretty athletic. But I mean, he got to play basketball. Mm-hmm. We saw him playing ball.
We certainly do not have any athletic politicians to look up to now, because they're all ancient.
We don't have any politicians to look up to, period.
Very few. Maybe
except
AOC.
for my gal AOC.
Yeah. God.
I'd vote.
She's the only one.
I'd vote.
I'd vote for her too.
I just want to make some friends.
Let's go.
That visceral feeling though of like counting to 10, being it, playing hide and seek. I personally think that there would be this like anxious thrill for me to be playing out in the dark in an unfamiliar place, regardless of if it was a graveyard, like even in a new neighborhood in the dark, like something about that. Everything's different in the dark. Everything looks different in the dark. It feels different. And I can feel that almost in my limbs, like that buzzy, like you're out of your comfort zone. Something, it may not be dangerous, but like something different is going to happen, or something different is happening. And I can feel that in my body. Like that connects me to my child self in a very specific way.
It's like going to trick or treat in a different neighborhood than the one you're used to going to.
Yeah. You turn the corner and like you're going to see something you don't expect. Like it's just, there's new horizons here. Something about it. They set off to seek and start to catch the yellow shirt kid crouching behind a grave marked Ron Oil to sneak up, but she disappears in fog. This has to be a nod to Ron Oliver.
It has to be.
It feels like this had to be Ron Oliver because it was so prominent, but like maybe they felt superstitious using anybody's full name on a gravestone. Like maybe that felt weird, and so they're like, okay, never mind.
Maybe they just asked him and he was like, not my real name. Not the full thing.
Jack and Kenny are once again disillusioned with the game, and when they hear the axe again, despite the well-stocked woodpile, Jack decides they're going to steal old man Corcoran's harmonica. They're going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Why is it the harmonica? Why is that the thing that they need?
Why the harmonica? Like, why not the axe? Like, that seems like an obvious thing. Could be. But also, does Jack think that Corcoran is a ghost or a real guy? Because he's trying to disprove their ghost story and like prove that he was afraid of something real that he really saw. But is he trying to prove that he saw a ghost, or is he trying to prove that this is just a guy that's out here and it's not a ghost story after all?
I think either or, because
he could want a ghost harmonica.
Even when he says, I know what I saw, they go, it was just a story she made up to scare you. It's not a real story. So he's like, something about this is real. I don't know what it is.
So it doesn't really matter if it's a ghost or a dude.
Yeah, I don't think he's concerned about what it is. I think he just says, I'm going to get the proof to show you that what you told me came true.
But regardless, if you believe that this is real, like if you believe any part of this is real, whether he is a ghost or a human, why would you want to do the thing that got somebody's hand chopped off in the legend? Why is it that you need to steal something from him to prove his existence?
He's proving, I'm going to do the scariest thing.
I'm a tough guy. I'm a big tough guy.
Like, I'm going to prove that I can make it here.
The hand got chopped off in the legend. I can do it without getting my hand chopped off.
I'm not just going to play your game. I'm going to do the thing in the scary story that you told me that got somebody's hand chopped off. Yeah, and not get my own hand chopped off. I'm going to do it successfully.
God, that impulse is so unrelatable to me that I can't even figure out what he's thinking. You know what I mean? Like, I truly would never cross my mind. They would tell me that story and I'd be like, cool, sucks for that kid. Yeah. I'm never going to be him.
I like my hands.
I like my hands. I like both of them exactly where they are. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Prefer that.
They fit nicely on my arms.
Pick stuff up real good. So I'm going to keep them.
No notes on this right here.
They just miss an opportunity as Corcoran has just conveniently finished shopping and left the harmonica behind again. But he comes back for it with one more haunting thud of the axe before they can snatch it. Kenny, who is, in comparison, thinking logically, wants to bring the kids to see Corcoran for themselves.
That makes sense.
But Jack is still stuck on stealing the harmonica.
Why not just go, Ollie, oxen free, come check this shit out.
Come look over here. He's
been here 2 nights in a row. How have you never seen him?
Yeah, there's a cabin. Like, it's all here. Just seeing the cabin, the harmonica, wouldn't that be enough for anybody to be like, okay, yeah, there is a dude out here?
It would spook me.
They can't have been far from, like, where the graves are. You know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah Corcoran's here. Clearly you did see something. Because even Vernon tells it like a legend that Vernon's never seen this guy, you know? But he's right there.
Yeah.
He's right there. I don't know.
He's got to be within the bounds of the graveyard.
It seems that it is.
There's also no gate on that side. So why is there a house on this hallowed ground? Like, why is there a guy living
a house
in the graveyard?
So many. Well, he's the groundskeeper. That's, yes. But like,
you don't have to live in a graveyard to be a graveyard.
Don't have to, but it's kind of like a preacher living on like the land where the church is.
It's not the same thing though. I mean, only if it's a churchyard does it make sense for like the parson or the whatever to like live there. But like looking at it, in the story they said his shack is out in the woods, which would be different from the graveyard.
Being on the grounds of the graveyard.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't get it. And you can't say that they haven't seen the shack because they can't go that far outside
because they went
the
to the kid's house.
Because they've been to their house multiple times now.
We don't know what the rules are. We're going to talk about it.
Riding their bikes up the street.
Yeah, who knows? This is a free-for-all. This is the Wild West of ghosts.
Ollie oxen free-for-all.
That's what it is. It's an Ollie oxen free-for-all.
Where are you going?
To get the others.
Get back here.
They part ways, and Jack proceeds, passing the buck on his poor decisions off to his brother, saying, if I die, it's his fault.
It's his fault.
Which also bothered me more than it should, but it may have been because his acting was especially grating right now. But it's just like, why are you going to blame that on Kenny? Kenny said he didn't want to go, and he didn't go with you. But if you die, it's his fault? No, you're making a decision to go.
That's true. You're choosing to go, dude.
God. As Jack and his flashlight, which I feel like might have been convenient to use before now, head toward the cabin.
Yeah.
He creeps inside.
Immediately, he's like, turn on. It's like,
yeah, where did that come from? You've had that the whole time? I feel like you could have been using that all along. Oh. He creeps inside, calling out as he does, and pans the room, the beam landing on a moldy plate of food, and then some black and white photos, and a taxidermied mounted moose with especially dead eyes. What is it from Return to Oz? What's it called?
The Gump.
The Gump. It's a Gump.
The Gump.
Yeah, this moment is also interesting to me because, like, at first glance, you're taking it at face value. Okay, creepy old cabin in the woods, creepy stuff inside, whatever. But like the moldy plate of food,
photographs.
It feels like, is that a nod? Like, do we know if Corcoran is human or ghost? Like, what is actually happening?
Oh, still up to interpretation.
I agree. Is it meant to throw you off the trail? The idea that it is a ghost for sure, it's not a person because it's been too long, or
probably.
Like, I don't know.
What living person would leave a plate of moldy food out?
Right.
You know, any self-respecting person that isn't Ed Gein.
Yeah, right. But Corcoran is supposed to be a little bit off.
A little quirky.
In the same moment, Jack's flashlight dies and the cabin door slams shut. Startled, he bumps into an old phonograph, which plays a distorted, chilling tune as the camera spins around a terrified Jack.
You gotta have an old phonograph.
Old
you have
phonograph
to have
in a cabin.
The spooky old thing.
Wooded.
You gotta have spooky music in a spooky story.
Mm-hmm.
But why do spooky music if the spooky music in the ghost story is the harmonica?
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Why?
Well, because we weren't quite ready for the reveal yet, but we were almost there.
What are you doing here?
I got scared. But look what I found.
His flashlight kicks back on, and he comes face to face with Kenny, who's come in clutch with the harmonica. After all, Kenny's got the harmonica.
Maybe that's why they couldn't do the harmonica. But you didn't have to do music at all. I don't know. I liked the song. I want to know. It reminds me of the murder ballads.
Yeah,
we talked about, but I want to know.
Most of the music for the series, as we know, was original, so I'm sure that was something they created.
They
talked about for Old Man Corcoran, the theme of Old Man Corcoran.
It's like spooky old scratchy music is scary. Let's do that.
Kenny says, "Now we've got proof. They have to believe us," and Jack agrees, asking Kenny to give him the flashlight. But Kenny didn't take the flashlight. Old Man Corcoran did. Corcoran steps forward from the shadow, holding it under his chin, yelling, "Give me my harmonica." And I immediately rewound the episode to see how they made the switch, because it just happens in that moment, you know?
I did it too.
Jack totally just hands the flashlight off to the dude standing in the shadow. Like, you can't see him.
You know, shows like this weren't made for streaming. They weren't made for you to go back.
They weren't made for you to be able to see it a second time immediately.
Watch over and over and over.
No, but I can still see DJ being proud of this gag. It's like a stage gag. It's
because
basically
there's another action. It's a sleight of hand trick.
Sleight of hand. Create a diversion.
The other action distracts you.
Yeah,
while he's
they're
handing
talking
off the
about
flashlight.
and looking at the harmonica, so you're not paying attention to what's happening with the flashlight until your attention is called to the flashlight. Right. You only see what they want you to see.
But also, what a hell of a lighting trick too, because that's dark.
Mm-hmm. Very dark back there.
The flashlight isn't doing enough to illuminate and to reveal anything in the shadows until it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And then it does.
It's just floating there. It's just floating in this darkness.
It's a good trick, though. I mean, even
it's
with
well done for what
handoff.
it is, and I like the idea that it's sleight of hand. I like the idea that the actor literally handed it to another actor,
it's
but
a practical effect.
You don't see it because they don't want you to. You're not. Your attention is being diverted elsewhere, and that's the suspension of disbelief thing. You know, where you have even watching this episode. You know, we're watching it for the purpose of analyzing it, and still the first time I watched it, I didn't see what happened.
I didn't see it.
You know,
I was like, whoa.
I think that's cool. I think that's a cool, like, it's like a vaudevillian sort of like old school way of film.
No, I went back to see what happened, not because I wanted to like ruin the magic, but because I wanted to know how they did it.
Right. I literally didn't see it. I didn't know. Yeah.
How they do
it's
that.
Pretty good.
It's a good trick.
I'm a fan, personally. Yet again, they run screaming, but trip and fall headfirst into an open grave, which would probably result in some pretty gnarly injuries in real life.
I think that's about 6 feet deep.
But instead, they pop up and dust off unscathed. But they're immediately accosted by a hiding Vernon, who tells them to go find their own grave, because she was there first.
Shut up and listen. We saw Old Man Corcoran again. He's up there and he's after us. I stole his harmonica.
I don't want you here.
It's as if Vernon is having another conversation entirely. She doesn't respond at all. She just says, "I don't want you here. Get out of here." And Jack screams, "Make me." Vernon recoils, but they climb out anyway. And as they walk away, Kenny sarcastically apologizes, saying he didn't see her name on the grave. But as they leave, she mumbles that maybe they should look a little closer next time.
That's a good line.
That's a good line, and it's the moment that I knew. You know, I'd suspected, and I was like, this is a weird thing. There's something weird happening. And then at this moment, I was like, okay, I see what you're doing. I see where you're going. I see where you're going with this. Apparently no longer finding their exit to be an urgent matter, the boys walk, not run, through the headstones until Marshall pops up from a grave and startles them again. They try to explain what's going on, but he's not having any of it. Super tired of this story. He doesn't want to hear any more about Old Man Corcoran.
We're playing a game here. Come on, get in. It's a great hiding place. Don't you want to play? They can never find you in here. Come on.
And he slips down into the grave again. He's being extra creepy here. Like, this is the moment also in which I thought the direction was especially good, because it's subtle. It's
a tone
only
shift,
there if you know that it's there, but it is definitely like a different tone.
Why does he want them to come down into this grave so badly?
Right. And personally, I was also confused why they were all trying to make them hide, because Kenny and Jack are supposed to be it in this round.
Right.
They're supposed to be it, but both Vernon and Marshall are like, go hide on your own.
Is that just like a...
Why didn't they tag them? Why didn't they tag
error?
them and then they're... I don't know.
Did they just slip up and forget that they were...
Granted, yeah, I have no idea. I was going to say the girl said Ollie Ollie Oxenfree, but she said it the night before.
That was the first time, right.
So they're still it.
Yeah.
They could just reach out and tag them. Maybe they couldn't reach out and tag them.
I mean, but they would have tried if everybody remembered.
Was still playing the game. I mean, and I understand Kenny and Jack not thinking about it because they got other stuff going on. They have bigger fish to fry.
No, they wouldn't. But oh wow. Well, it just really makes me.
Did I blow your mind there?
Yeah, because I didn't think about that. But because this whole time I've been thinking, like, what's the end goal here?
Yeah.
What do these kids gain?
Right. What do they actually want?
What's like a job well done for them?
Right.
And it makes me wonder, like, I don't know. It almost just kind of feels like, okay, the night's dragged on. They went to the cabin. They had their fright. They found the harmonica. They're going to go back, but it's taken too much time. And now it's almost like the animatronics are powering down.
Yeah.
The place is dark. It's getting quiet.
Yep.
It's closed.
It's over now. Like it's sleep time. We're going back where we came from.
They're stuck in a time loop, an eternal time loop, so they don't really...
They're not like autonomous beings.
Yeah, to like continue playing the game past a certain point. It's like when the night comes to an end, the night's over.
Yeah. The game's over now.
They still exist because they're still stuck here.
Wow.
Forever. So that's why Jack and Kenny are like...
Everybody's just slipping back down into these graves. Yeah.
They're all going home for the night. They're going to sleep.
More put off by Marshall than ever, they're weighing their options, but before they can make a move, Old Man Corcoran appears behind them, grabbing his harmonica back.
What are you doing here?
We were playing hide and seek.
In the graveyard. Just the two of you.
No, with our friends.
Paralyzed, Kenny says they're playing with their friends and rattles off some names. Sissy Vernon, Marshall McLean. But as he's speaking, Corcoran steps toward them, towering over until they both fall backward, revealing Marshall McLean's headstone.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, Darklings. If you didn't hear us say it earlier, over and over, these are dead kids. And a potentially not dead Corcoran?
Who knows?
Who knows?
We don't know.
Possibly the gravedigger here isn't a ghost after all.
I take it as though he's not.
I kind of took it that way also. I think he has to be a human. But
I think he's real.
There's the plate of moldy food. Like, there are things to throw you off the trail. I don't know.
I think they're red herrings.
I think so too. Like, if you're asking like my like stance on it, yeah, I think he's a person.
Why he doesn't live in that house with like lanterns and lights and, you know, a fire going in the fireplace if he's chopping so much goddamn wood? Like,
so
why
much
he's
wood,
hiding in the darkness?
Mm-hmm. These are darker questions.
Mm-hmm. Like what he's doing out there alone in the middle of the night. Because, you know, there are times where he's missing. Because if you come to my house at night, like the lights are on and I'm like watching TV.
Right.
You know, or working on a podcast episode or recording one or hanging out with my family. You know, like there's life.
Something's
there's
happening.
Things going on. And I imagine your house is very similar.
Sure. My cats are running around. There's at least one lamp on somewhere.
You got the TV on. You're watching
TV
Gilmore Girls.
is definitely going. Gilmore Girls is happening. That's for sure.
You're heating up your baked potato.
My baked potato, my pasta.
Yeah, got to. So like things happen where people are living.
There's a glow. You can tell. There's a glow of life from inside and outside
At
a
least
place.
a candle.
But there is no glow at Corcoran's cabin. None. Nothing.
So what's he doing?
What is he doing?
Just chopping wood, playing his harmonica.
One of the more haunting questions we're going to ask tonight.
Digging graves.
He says, that ain't very funny. All those kids are dead and buried. Dug the graves myself. They turn around to see the headstone. And it turns out Marshall died at 13 in 1978. Then Corcoran says, what's wrong with you two? You look like you've seen a ghost.
I mean, and I was very surprised at how swiftly this episode was wrapped up at that point.
That's the end.
But
Kiki concludes it right here
with so many questions.
So many questions, not the least of which we were just asking. Like, who is Old Man Corcoran?
What's the scary thing? The fact that all the kids were ghosts, Or that Corcoran said, I buried them myself.
I buried them myself. Yeah, there's multiple things happening. Like, we think Corcoran's the threat, but oh no, it's actually the ghost kids. But oh no, who killed the ghost kids? And like,
my thing is like, how did they all die? I want to see the gravestones because I want to know, did they all die at the same time? Mm-hmm. Was there a tragic accident?
Right, they're all friends, but then Sissy said since I joined the group, so like they've all been kids here. She came later.
She came afterward. So back to my question about what are the intentions of these children? Are they just looking for playthings? Are they just looking for fun because they've been doing this over and over every night?
Right. Are they just bored, or is there something more sinister at play?
Marshall told Vernon. He told her that she was going to be the last one. Mm-hmm. Did they lure her in and kill her there?
Right. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
There's a lot to say about all of it. But first we have to let Kiki conclude the story. She asks if the Midnight Society wants to play that dumb kids game again. And a chorus of, not it, rang out, minus a too slow Frank. They laugh and then bolt as Frank starts counting.
Also, where's Gary?
Where is Gary?
Mysteriously missing Gary.
From those last moments.
He was there.
This is also the last time we see David and Kristen. This is their final campfire. So farewell to the two of them from a pretty dark send-off. We appreciated their stories. We're glad they're here, but they only were part of the Midnight Society for those first 2 seasons.
I already miss them.
Yeah, they were vital. They were integral to the Midnight Society. I think this was a pretty cute take on the Sixth Sense twist, pre-Sixth Sense, because, that was 1999. But it is cute to me, in a creepy sort of way, that these ghosts made up a human story to scare away the other humans.
Yeah.
It's a group of ghost kids telling a human story. Because humans are the scariest part. Humans are the scariest thing of all. And as we're saying with Old Man Corcoran, he very well may be the deranged weirdo that we're told he is.
Did they just take Corcoran as a character and weave this tale around him for fun? Because he's a real dude. He's there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But they act like it was a made-up story, but it can't be made up because he's real.
He's real, but maybe the story isn't. Maybe these ghost kids just know the groundskeeper. They know, and they're Old Man Corcoran, and so they've just made up a story, a spooky story about this guy they know. I guess there's no way to tell. Like, there's no way to be sure.
But I mean, if he dug their grave and buried them and they've been there for that long, they probably know his name is Corcoran.
It's like the legends about the principal he did this once upon a time, like way a long time, like weird, like a kid authority figure, somebody that they know, and they make up a story.
It could also be
punished a kid like this or whatever.
It could simply be the fact that they associate him with their death because he's the last human touch they've ever known. The last human interaction they had was with this guy who put their bodies in the ground and buried them.
Yikes.
So maybe they're just thinking of him. He's the veil between life and death. All they know is this guy put us in the ground. So he's the boogeyman.
And so they just created a legend around him.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe there were stories about him in life, and maybe now they just believe them. Or they just made them up to make themselves. They told a spooky story with a little bit of dark humor.
To entertain themselves.
But also to help them process their own deaths and make sense of the fact that they're ghosts now. And they go, well, he's just a murderer.
Yeah.
He chops the hands off of kids. He's a bad dude. That's why we're here, to justify their death, to give a meaning, a reason for why they died.
Because the memory is foggy. They don't quite know.
Maybe the memory of how they actually died is gone. Yeah. So maybe they're kind of like Casper, all I know is just waking up a ghost. Mm-hmm. But I remember that guy. He was there.
I don't know how or why, but
and he's always here burying people. So, hey,
might want to look into Corcoran.
Watch out for that guy. So maybe that's why they were like, no, we just made up a fun story to scare you. It's not real because they know it's not real deep down, but it helps. It helps.
Maybe somehow it helps.
It's folklore for them. Humans just tell folklore stories because it helps.
But I have to add one more layer to this whole idea because this episode gets much capital P, capital D, pretty darker when you realize that Vernon, the kid who seems really abrasive and doesn't want them there and is telling them to get away and, doesn't want any part of them, is actually trying to keep them alive and safe. And the kid who wants them to play and is inviting them into the graveyard and is friendly and personable would seemingly, at least in subtext, rather they were dead.
If their goal is to kill them, and make
if
them
their goal is to kill
ghosts.
them. If their goal is to get them to join the group. The way that they
it
phrase
seems
it like that.
way.
Joining the group versus not joining the group, like we do or we don't want them in here. We do or we don't want them around. Vernon, who's being so mean, is actually trying to keep them among the living.
Yeah, and in that context.
And Marshall
for sure.
wants them to play with this group for his own selfish reasons of like being bored with the playmates that he currently has. So
come down to this grave.
If we didn't see Marshall's grave, I would be tempted to argue that he was something much darker, like a much darker entity with much more malevolent intent.
His line about they never find you here.
Yeah.
They can never find you in here.
That gets me in this
They
context.
never find you here. It can work in a game of hide and seek.
And it can work as come down
Milk
here.
carton kid.
Yeah.
Missing children.
Missing children. Hey, just come down here.
Ooh, I just got goosebumps.
Don't think about it. They'll never find you.
He may just be a bored ghost kid, but if so, why'd he talk like that?
I know. He's suave. He seems like he's been there a lot longer than 15 years.
Yeah.
However long it's been.
Taking all of that into consideration, I think it's time for the scareometer.
The scareometer. Like usual, talking about this and analyzing it and deep diving it makes it scarier.
Yeah. Did you increase your scareometer rating?
I haven't even given it one yet until right now. And I mean, I think it's like a 6.
I gave it a 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty middle of the road. But
up there.
Yeah, it has this existential twist. And it's not often that you have like dead kids so explicitly discussed and like seeing, regardless of the context or how it's all like laid out, seeing a child's headstone in children's media is pretty dark.
It's a pretty dark thing to happen. Yeah.
So I get it.
Child ghost.
And if you add in this like idea that Marshall has they'll never find you in here, come play with me, come play with me over here in the grave.
That's the part that's freaking me out now.
It makes me think of that show Evil that you told me to watch.
Yeah.
There's an episode where like the kids, like the girl's at the sleepover and she's just kind of like unknown origin.
Shit.
Like the neighbor kid that just appears.
She does because she's in a Halloween costume.
Yeah, she's in a mask the whole time.
And they think it's the girl's friend
come
from
play
school.
with me. They think it's the girl that's supposed to come, but
and
she
does the whole thing like, I have the scariest game ever. We could play it. And she lures them out to the graveyard.
Yep.
Yeah, and tries to get them to go into the grave.
Go into the grave. That scene. And the whole time that kid is in the mask, and we like find out the audience finds out at a certain point that it isn't the kid from school because we know that she called out. But we're watching it that whole time with the knowledge that it is not the friend that they think it is. Oh my God, that was so well done. But I thought about that multiple times while watching this.
Yeah, man, that show was so good for the first like 2 or 3 seasons.
Man, I think I've only seen the first season, but
that one and the VR headset episodes are
yes. The VR one gets me because that feels too close to real. Like there's a lot of paranormal like to it, but it feels too close to real that somebody can be there like waiting to talk to your kid, waiting to
it's totally possible. Yeah, it happens all the time.
All that's feasible. God, but yeah, I thought about that a few times. Just the idea that like this kid, this seemingly well-meaning, friendly kid that wants to play a game with you in the cemetery, in the grave, maybe not a kid you need to listen to. I'm
telling you, I wouldn't have trusted these kids further than I could throw them.
No, me neither.
They're spooky. But it's a similar concept to Welcome to Dead House from Goosebumps that we'll talk about one day. Very, very similar.
That being said, although I wouldn't advise following any kids into their graves, I think it's a good idea to not only stop and smell the roses, but to stop and play the dumb kids game. I wouldn't call myself a true thrill seeker, but even I recognize how much we sometimes need a jolt of night air and good friends and breathless, spooky adrenaline to lift our spirits and get us out of our grown-up routines and wake up our inner children. I feel like that's coping, that's resistance, and honestly, life's too short and ghosting is too long to not have as many moments of silly human connection as we can.
I feel it. I dig it.
I would advise avoiding any wayward axes in the process, and if you hear a harmonica or maybe even laughter of a child echoing on the wind, maybe just let the woods keep their secrets.
Just run. Just run straight home. Hop on your bike.
I'll talk about this forever. I'll tell the story for always, but I'm not going to look any closer. I'm not going to be any closer than I am right now.
Well, to tell the tale, you have to live to tell the tale. You first must survive.
Dead men tell none.
Dead men tell none of those ghost stories.
Except for Marshall McLean.
Apparently. Yeah, no, that's one of the things I love most about not just our show, but also Are You Afraid of the Dark, is I feel like it recenters us back to the core of what our show was always, always going to be, what it is, what we want it to be.
Yeah.
But it always reminds me to indulge in those,
those moments,
the childhood free play.
It's what it is.
It's not even free thinking. It's just free play.
It's just, truly play. Play teaches us so much. We learn so much that way. We learn about ourselves that way.
I forget to do that all the time.
Yeah.
Constantly. Need more of it. Don't get enough of it. Kids help because they always are trying to get you to play. They always have something that they want to do.
And if you have the time, if you have the opportunity,
you have to have the time first to do it. That's the biggest tragedy of human adulthood, is that the societal structures, especially in America.
Capitalism.
It's just,
I think we say it every episode now.
You don't get to do that. You don't have time. Your kids are going to raise themselves. And
because you have to feed them. So
yeah, how else are they going to eat if we keep raising the prices of groceries, and gas, bombing the country that gives us our oil and things like that. Just the little things that keep us busy.
Everything that keeps us busy while World War III rages around us.
So I'm going to keep making this show and keeping the nostalgia going up, because I'm going to buy a Super Soaker.
You need to. Is this what sealed the deal? This episode?
I've been thinking about it for a while.
I got to do it. Are you going to get the one with the backpack, the XP300?
I'll see what's out there. I'll see what we got. I'll see what's
I don't know if they
what's
still
available.
make that model, but I would imagine that they make some sort of reservoir
probably
Super Soaker. There's no way they don't.
I'd imagine. We have, water guns, but they're little squirt guns. They're not Super Soakers. But I think that's how I'm going to level up this summer, and I'm excited about it. I'm going to get a slip and slide,
a Super Soaker. If you have time, if you have opportunity, even if you don't have time, I would say make time. We have to play. We have to connect to what makes us human, because
that's why I've been taking weekends. I've been trying to have actual weekends, because otherwise,
what is existence?
I get super depressed, and you can't raise kids healthily when you're that depressed, So I try to take time to spend time with my family.
That's why community is so important. That's why it's so important to connect with one another, which is why we exist at all on the internet. And if you want to do more of that, you can find us on social media at That's Pretty Dark Podcast on Instagram, at That's Pretty Dark on TikTok. You can reach out to our inbox, That's Pretty Dark Podcast at gmail.com. You can find us on Patreon, where there is a true community of patrons, on a Discord there. That's patreon.com/TPD podcast. We're here for you. We're here to hear about your experiences as the world crumbles around us.
Well, indulge the nostalgia and tell us what you do to capture some of that magic. If it's just listening to our show, that's awesome. But if you have ways that you free play and free think and dig back into your childhood mentality, let us know what that is. What do you do for fun? What do you do with your kids or your siblings' kids, or your cousins' kid,
my best friend's kids.
Your best friend's kids, whatever that looks like to you. Because we'd love to do some listener-based episodes where we talk about how you guys capture the nostalgic magic.
How you keep it alive.
Yeah, how do you keep that alive? Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really helpful. I feel like I've been really off all night tonight, because genuinely, I'm pretty good about watching the news and being conscious of how much I'm ingesting, but I have been it's different. Something feels different about this news cycle of the past 2 weeks than it has in, I don't know how long, decades, really, probably longer. I feel like I have been off my game tonight in every way possible, because I can't stop thinking about the tragedy that is everywhere. But that's why it's so important that we're doing this. You have to, as a human, you have to take your mind off of those things to the degree that you can. We are privileged and lucky that we're able to. And we hope that we are helping Darklings out there do the same thing. Just for a little while, just as long as we, are able to think about something that isn't fear, honestly. Ironically, we're thinking about fear in a different context. We're being empowered through fear, and it's different to look at it through that lens.
So, if the world's going to burn, we might as well buy a bunch of Super Soakers and help.
We might as well play hide and seek.
Out those fires.
Just keep hiding for a little while.
Hide from the fires.
Yeah.
Seek out the super soakers.
Thank you all for sticking with us, for being here with us through it. We love you. We appreciate you. We will continue doing this till we see the mushroom cloud. We're in it with you. And we're really grateful to be.
Just keep those flashlights on, y'all.
Bye.
That's Pretty Dark Podcast is produced by Kaylin Andrews and me, Christian Baxter Mott.
With music by Jonathan Simmons and cover design by Halftone Horror.
You can support our show by supporting our sponsors, or go to patreon.com/TPD podcast to unlock all the Pretty Dark bonus content we have in store.
Please share your experiences and let us know what shows, films, or villains still haunt you from childhood on our socials or at that'sprettydarkpodcast@gmail.com.
For all other information, visit our website, that'sprettydark.com.
Remember, you're never really alone.
So, until next time, sweet dreams, everyone.